Go ahead.
I just have one question. All the contracts that have been done up till now are finalized, finished?
The contract.
The contract for the fire hall, 300,000 or 400,000 we spent before, all that has been thrown out and started over again?
We didn't spend 300 and 400.
No, I'm just picking a number.
Oh, you
Okay.
mean any amount that was spent?
Yeah, any amount, I'm just
Okay.
picking a number just to see if it was in that area for what we spent before on last.
No, it's not close to be in that area, Tom. It was near $70,000. You know, we had to go for tenders to file our project for the grants.
Yeah,
So that's what we did. So they started, working on that with Favreau at the time, and
but wasn't there plans drawn up at some time or something?
there was plan drawn up on a particular land, and now we're looking at other lands.
Oh, okay, so everything in the past has gone by and we're gonna start new.
Yes.
So by 27, we should have one.
By 2027 or 2027,
Yeah,
a Kazan, you mean?
yeah.
I hope so.
You can't.
That's the purpose.
Okay.
Well, we're doing a special meeting tonight because we don't want to lose the grants. We have discussed to be able to continue getting the grants, but we have to redo the plans because it's not the same location.
Okay.
No, it'll be Larry Ingold and,
Go ahead.
yes.
What is the total amount of money spent, including the plans that were made prior to this evening?
Like I said to Tom, $70,000.
And the plans now are gonna cost about 400,000?
Close to
No.
500.
No, the plans are gonna cost, the architecture contract was allowed at $195 this week, tonight.
So and we're now only gonna spend 70,000?
That's not,
The
no,
plans are no
No.
good, the old plans are no good?
the old plans are no good.
So we wasted $70,000.
Well, you say wasted, we need to file for a grant. We were working on a piece of land, and the piece of land, after starting working on it with the environmental issues and all that, we tried to buy a piece of land that will help us build on that piece of land, and we didn't succeed, so we're looking at other options at the moment.
Where are the funds coming to pay for this?
Where the funds are coming
To
from,
pay for the fire station?
from the town, sir?
Oh, there's a grant of, there'll be a grant of 50 or 60%?
Well, you're talking about the 70,000 that we spent?
No, the total
I'm
cost.
talking to you about you're building a new fire station.
Yes.
Yeah, the total cost.
Where are the funds? Where's the money coming from?
Okay, so we're not close to there, but we're gonna have a boring bylaw, and there's gonna be a grant from the government. So we're expecting a grant between 4 and 5.5 million, and the balance will be a boring bylaw.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope you could shed some detail on this. Now, first of all, I'm just curious, you've put this in an extraordinary session of council. The next session, monthly session, is only 2.5 weeks away. Why did this require a special separate session?
Because of the grant to begin with.
Okay, can you explain that part of it?
Well, I mean.
What grant?
Well, we've got a deadline to respect, and
And
2
if
weeks,
not-
2 weeks where we're at, it's important. So we decided to have a special sitting for that. Yeah.
Okay, so a grant, did we have grant money already assigned or no?
No, there's a letter saying that we're eligible for a grant, and we need to respect a few things to get the grant.
That was sent months ago.
And the timeline is very,
It's
the
this
window
year.
is very short. So we have to do it now, and so we can send it, and then we'll go from there.
So are you saying that the government sent this letter to you with a very short period to answer? When did the government send the letter?
I
Well, I don't know.
I don't recall when we received the letter, but now where are we at? There's a deadline to respect, and that's why we're getting things faster than what.
Yeah. No, I understand there's a hard stop. That
Yeah.
part I understand.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to get some clarity on is how long this project has been ongoing for?
A long time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how long is a long time?
I don't recall. It's too long.
Roughly, really?
2 years, 3 years? Would that be allowed? It's 5 years.
5 years,
Yeah.
okay, so for what happened in the 5 years? Can you just explain that to us? Like, because suddenly I'm hearing that, and this is a very important project, there's no doubt, okay?
Yes.
But suddenly, apparently, we've got, like, our backs are collectively against the wall, we have to do things very quickly. What's been happening over those 5 years? Can you unpack that for us, please?
I can. What happened is we started working on a piece of land with the old administration of the fire station, and after that there were change movement of personnel at the fire department. So as you know, Sutton is no longer with us. So we were going. It felt like apart because nobody was really working on it, and also during the time when we got the Favreau working on it, we realized that the piece of land that we had, there were environmental issues, and the land was a bit too small. So we tried negotiating with the owners beside. So that takes time. We looked at options to buy a piece of land on both sides of that land, and so it's basically and we filed for the grant. We received after a year and a half, an official letter from the government. So when we finished the work, it took probably a year and a half or 2 years to receive a letter from the government. So that's in the span of the 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so you said it's no longer then going to be at lot 4763922 on 301 Victoria? Is that what, am I correct?
We're trying not to go there.
Okay.
Yes?
And how long had we been working on that site? 5 years?
No. We bought that piece of land. We bought that piece of land in 2018.
19, I think.
18 or 19.
Yeah.
And we started
It's 5 years.
doing sketch for that piece of land, so since 2000, probably 21, 22, that piece of land was like, oh boy, it's no longer probably feasible. We tried, like I said, buying a piece of land from neighbors, and we're here tonight.
Okay, so when did we discover that there were problems at 301 Victoria? Those environmental problems, I think is what you're saying?
I don't have an answer for you tonight. It's like, no, I don't. It's too precise, so I don't know.
Okay, because I mean, it is a very big project, as you said.
For sure.
And can you also help me understand, you said Sutton was, partnered up with us, now they're not partnered up with us. How does that impact what we're doing in a construction in our town? Can you explain that part for us?
Well, the management of the fire department at the time was with Sutton, so they were managing the file. So that's why at the time they took it where they had to, and after that they left. So we picked it up, and the team picked it up, and.
Okay, when you say the team, who is the team?
The team is the fire department and the new director, and Robert Daniel, who is the DGA now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so it sounds, and perhaps I'm not understanding you properly. Are you saying that we had left Sutton to run this, and then when Sutton stepped away,
No.
there was
There's
okay,
nothing.
perhaps I'm
No,
not
they were in
understanding.
charge of the department, so the mandate that they had was to manage the fire department. So, and they had to manage also the construction of a new caserne.
Okay, so that was entirely in Sutton's hands?
Well,
It
no,
was.
we were together,
They
right?
Well, I'm not clear on this, that's why I'm asking.
This is Soutal. They work for us. I'm the DJ, so Mr. Miro was, was directly involved with me.
Okay.
So he followed what he had to do.
Okay, so really, it's ultimately, the responsibility is still here and has always been here.
It's
in this
always
area.
been here,
Always.
always.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you, that's helpful.
Je vais rajouter quelque chose. One of the advantages of working with Dominico is that he had supervised the division of the caserne in Sutton. He had experience and he had knowledge in terms of a fire station. But, so they worked in that sense. I wouldn't say that there's a problem with having the right site for this.
Well,
And
that's not what I just heard.
no,
I heard that we
I'm
don't have
saying
the right
that I
site.
understand, it took time. The second thing is that the project, we also wanted to secure an important grant because it's gonna pay a big part of the cost of the fire station. And that took time also, so they had to secure that grant. And it's only not that long ago, I would say maybe a year and a half ago, we knew that we were probably gonna get it. So now we have to put all the pieces together.
Okay.
And there's conditions to that, and there's also deadlines to that.
Yeah, I understand.
Because it was so that's why we're in a tight schedule to get things started.
So we have now secured the grants from the government, is that what we're saying? Almost secured?
We think that it's secured, but we don't have a letter showing that it's secured, but
Well, then it isn't secured unless they put it in writing, I would assume.
the letter that we receive is like, you know, we consulted all the other towns that had a grant.
Okay,
And they received the same letter where we're at. It's only a matter of time of getting all the documents and the ready to go for tenders, because all they're waiting is that for us to go for tenders for the construction, and just before we go there, we're gonna submit everything to them, and they're gonna analyze the final documents, and they're gonna tell us the amount.
okay, but
So-
we do not at this point have.
We don't have a letter saying you've got what amount of dollars.
Right,
Yeah, they need to have everything before.
Excuse me,
go ahead.
and do we at this time have a location?
Yeah, that's the next question.
That's a good question. We're working on it.
Where are you looking
Do
at?
you wanna, wait a minute now. If I go into business, sir, and I'm applying for some money,
We're
I
not,
have to have a site,
for sure,
okay?
for sure.
The
We're
government's
working on
not
it,
gonna say,
Mr.
"Oh,
Stone.
you're thinking
And
about
if,
doing
and
that?"
if, and if we had an answer for you tonight, okay, because it's confidential.
No,
Oh,
we're
yes, it is.
citizens of the town, there's
No,
no.
No, the location is
we're working
confidential right
for,
now.
with somebody, and it's confidential. You know, we're,
It's all
But
right.
it's not confidential that my money is gonna go to do this, and so do I not have a say as to, yeah, that's a good place, or, oh God, that stinks?
No,
Well-
I don't have
no,
a
the
say
site,
on
the
this?
site's been chosen, and it's
I don't get
strategic
this.
for us, for the fire station, and everything is good. If we get it, it's the number one place probably to have a fire station, so that's it.
If we get it, so it doesn't belong to us yet.
well,
Well, sir, either yes or no. Either we own it or we don't.
Well, if we own it, I'd say we own it. We don't own it,
Okay, thank you.
but we're
That's-
working on it,
yeah.
Okay,
like everything else.
absolutely,
So that's
understood.
it.
Then
So,
that's the
yeah.
answer.
Is there another question?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I recall a couple of months ago, the town said that they were registering a right of first refusal on a property adjacent to the 301 Victoria. And when questions were raised about that, Mr. Arel said that this was because you needed to make that plot at 301 bigger in order to make it serviceable.
Like I explained, yeah.
Okay, so so because you said, oh, we're trying to get, okay. So is that right of first refusal still registered on that property?
For sure.
Okay, but if you registered it because you needed it for a fire station, which is no longer gonna be built there, then why do we still have a right of first refusal registered
Well,
on that?
because it doesn't cost nothing to have a right of refusal on it. So, and we're still, you know, we're doing our job to make sure that there's a caserne going on. So we're taking all the options available. So that's why we put a droit de préemption on that piece of land, because the piece of land that we own is a bit too short, and we, like I said earlier, we're looking with neighbors to buy. And we knew that piece of land was going for sale, and we said, oh, we're gonna put a droit de préemption because we want a new caserne because all the options on the table were necessary to have, and that's what we were doing.
Right, but that's no longer an option now. If I understood you correctly, you said 301 Victoria is no longer feasible.
It's no longer feasible until we're gonna know if the land that we're working on will be ours.
Okay, now I'm having trouble following the logic.
I think I'm gonna help with our.
Why?
Because I understood that 301 was impractical because of the environmental
We're
concerns.
keeping several options open. We don't wanna lose the grant, which is very important because we're talking about $4 or $5 million. So we're keeping all options open, but we're aiming for the best location to put the fire station. And
Understand.
the tight schedule we have is to secure the grant, to secure the new fire station, and to put it in the best locations possible. So hopefully we'll have news for you guys on those situations and not too long.
Because that property around Victoria, that's also adjacent to that big Highland property, isn't it?
Yes,
Right. So is that why we're putting a right of first refusal on it?
not the big
Not
part,
that one.
not the
Not
one,
the big one.
the one, that- when you look at the property, the land, it's on the right that we put a droit de préemption on.
Okay. The one thing I'm still struggling with is though, you know, you're saying we were going to put it there, we spent, is it $70,000 or more
It's
than that?
It's 70,000.
What is the total sum we spent so far for this?
Like
this
I said,
project?
we spent
In the last 5 years?
more or less
Doesn't matter.
$70,000
That's it.
on Favreau's bill and EXP's bill, and it was to make the plans to apply for a grant. And now we're going somewhere else, and we think that we're gonna save a lot of money. So that's gonna be out in the open when we're gonna have all the information to give you all, but at the moment, that's where we're at.
And when do you expect to have more clarity around this?
I hope that in the next month, everything will be clear.
Okay. And the property at 301 Victoria has quadrupled in value.
Which one you're talking about?
That's the 301 Victoria, which is the lot where you wanted to build that fire station.
Yes,
Yeah.
triple in value.
Quadrupled,
Quadruple, 4 times the value.
Okay,
4 times.
yeah,
yeah.
A
and
good deal.
And that's good investment.
Yeah, but we're not supposed to be necessarily involved in acquiring property.
but we're not
We're
evaluating,
acquiring
so we're,
property for making a profit. If we have to sell a piece of land after, because something else works better, to security for the firemen, for the fire department, then isn't it good management or not? Pardon me?
Pardon me?
No, is it good management or not? I'm asking you a question.
Good management.
Good management
In
is
this?
doing that and making a profit
Good.
after if you
Yeah,
have to
but
sell.
that starts to sound speculative, sir. I
You
don't
have
think
another
we wanna
question,
go there.
ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Well, Tommy McGovern has a question.
All right,
What
please go
you're-
ahead.
What you're trying to tell us is that you're keeping that piece of land as a safety aspect until you figure out if the other piece of land is gonna come through.
Exactly, Tommy.
Okay, now I got you. She kinda had me way off in left field, and I was trying to get back into right, but I just wanted to understand that that's what you wanted to do.
but Tom, that piece of land will be kept after for sure
No,
also.
but I'm just
Yes.
saying, you're looking at it as a safety aspect in case the other one doesn't go.
For sure.
Madame Putnam.
Pour construire une caserne de pompiers, quelle sorte de zonage
Institutionnel.
institutionnel?
Ouais. Puis tous les terrains avec le Lac-Brome ont un zonage secondaire institutionnel, juste au cas qu'on ait besoin de construire quelque chose pour des raisons de la
Et
ville.
mettons que c'était agricole, il me semble que les terres agricoles sont difficilement...
Exact.
On peut difficilement changer le zonage.
Il y a des critères que tu peux changer rapidement le zonage, mais c'est difficile. Ouais.
OK, puis est-ce que vous aviez, est-ce qu'il y avait un territoire plus ciblé dans le choix? Est-ce que c'est vraiment ici, dans l'environnement?
Le choix, c'est intéressant. Il y a beaucoup de pompiers ici. Ils pourraient vous dire que le choix de construire une caserne doit se faire proche des endroits à haut risque. Hein, la KDC, les centres de personnes âgées. Donc, puis il faut que ça soit central. Pierre-Laplante est l'ancien directeur du service incendie pourrait vous dire la même affaire. Donc, effectivement, dans les environs ici, c'est l'endroit idéal pour construire une caserne.
Je peux en rajouter?
Oui, vas-y.
Dans un premier temps, qu'est-ce qui arrive, c'est qu'on a des temps de réponse à respecter par rapport au schéma de couverture de risque.
Ah, d'accord.
Autre chose aussi, c'est que la plupart de nos pompiers restent non loin de la caserne. Donc, vous devez figurer, durant la nuit, les gens se lèvent, s'habillent, se rendent dans la caserne, embarquent dans leur véhicule, puis se rendent au lieu d'incendie. Donc, c'est pour ça qu'il y a des endroits qui sont prioritaires par rapport à la location. On ne peut pas mettre la caserne n'importe où. L'autre chose aussi, c'est que la caserne, c'est un bâtiment qui est giclé. Donc, qu'est-ce qui arrive dans les plans? Dans la nouvelle caserne, ça va nous prendre un endroit, parce qu'on a de l'alimentation. Il faut être capable ici, en eau, des services des incendies. Donc, je pourrais en rajouter, là, pas vous en parler pendant 2 heures de temps, mais je vous dis seulement l'essentiel.
Je veux rajouter quelque chose aussi, c'est que maintenant, on doit desservir 3 municipalités, Brome avec nous. Brome va participer au coût de la caserne, dans les mêmes propriétaires que West Bolton, parce qu'on a déjà eu un différend avec West Bolton, puis on a défini une façon de financer le service des pompiers. Maintenant, il y a 3 services, il y a 3 municipalités. Donc, ça nous rassure beaucoup en termes d'enchaîner la subvention, parce qu'il va refuser ça à 3 municipalités, et ça devient compliqué.
Have these
Well,
specs...
madame, non.
Oh, I'm
madame,
sorry, beg
ouais.
your pardon.
Combien de temps vous reste-t-il avant d'être sûr que vous sécurisez votre subvention du gouvernement
C'est une très bonne question. D'ici la fin de l'année.
d'ici la fin de l'année?
Les
On
calendriers,
2025.
parce qu'il y a toujours une
Oui,
petite
oui,
course avant le 1er avril.
Oui, mais il y a quand même une certaine flexibilité avec le ministère, mais on ne va pas prendre de chance.
Have
On ne
this...
peut pas perdre ça.
I'm sorry. Thanks. Have the
Yes, last
specifications
question,
changed?
because we're, yeah, okay.
Well, then we'll bring them up.
No, go
in,
ahead.
at the council meeting.
No, bring it up.
Have the specs changed at all for this fire station?
Yes.
Okay, what has changed? I mean, I'm not surprised, because it's been going on for a long time, but what has changed? Can you explain that to us?
The only change that I know for, because I'm not in the technical aspect, is there won't be any 2-story. It's going to be on 1 story.
1 story, okay.
Is that guaranteed?
Pardon me?
Is that guaranteed?
Well, that's what the plans are for, because everybody thinks that it's going to be less costly. Yeah, less costly.
Is that a code requirement, or what?
A code?
Well, I mean, sometimes building codes, rules change, right?
Yeah, but we're working with architects and engineers, Madame Soutal, so the code, they will respect the code for sure.
Okay, but I would expect that, they're bound to.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to get at is, are the costs increasing because of the fact that the specs are changing over a 5?
When you say the cost, which one are you talking about? The cost? Which
Well,
one?
the cost of building it, the cost of.
Well, we think, our people think, not me, because I'm not a professional on it, but we think that the cost of building what we revise will cost less than the one that was planned before.
Okay. And
With the same size, we're gonna have the same square footage, but only on 1 level. So no elevators, no stairway, so there's people that think that it's gonna be less expensive.
Is that what the firemen and women and emergency responders, is that what they want? That's what I'm really curious about.
I don't know. The DGA worked on it with the fire chief, so I guess that everybody's on board, but I don't know. Pardon me?
Not the fire chief, fire director.
Oh, yeah, fire director, yeah.
Okay, because I would hope
We're getting technical.
that yeah, but it's a very important technicality. I would hope that the people who we ask to protect us are the people whose opinions weigh heavily in the choices that we ultimately make.
The fire director is well qualified to know what the
I'm
needs.
not suggesting he is.
And he's probably talked with the firemen, I don't know. But again, that is between them, and they proposed that, and with Robert Daniel, and consequently, that is what came out of it.
Okay. Because, I mean, we're not that big a town. I understand if it was you know, like New York City or Montreal or London, but in a town of 6,000 people, I would hope
6,273.
that we were well networked enough that we could be sure that the decisions we're making for enormous, significant, and very important capital expenditures are actually something which the people who are being asked to use them to protect all of us are comfortable with. Okay, so that's why it concerns me a little bit when I hear an answer of, well, somebody talked to somebody and somebody's in charge. And I'm not questioning the qualifications of any directors of the fire department, but it seems to me that would be a very important question to have a solid answer from the council and the administration.
Well, the solid answer is a director, if he's I'll go back to the police department. If a director of a police department is gonna build a police station, he is gonna consult everybody.
Good.
He's gonna see all the things that didn't work in the old one, and they're gonna adjust and improve and make it better.
That's good.
And that's what we're here for.
That's good to hear.
Good.
Okay. The fact that we have new equipment now, and I believe larger equipment, although this really isn't my area of expertise, what adjustments have to be made to the plan to accommodate the equipment that we've acquired, or that we might need to acquire?
All the adjustments have been made. They were talked about, whatever, with Robert Daniel, with Keith, Kevin Robinson,
Kevin.
and the firemen, the problems that we have at the old fire station with the decontamination, the other building beside it, temporarily for decontamination and everything. Everything has been discussed, and we have to make it better.
Good, that's a very important consideration. The first contract you said was going to the firm that had it before. Is the second contract, the engineering contract, going to the same firm that had it previously?
For the
Well, there are two
for
contracts.
the architecture or for the
No,
Well,
no. The answer is no, Mrs. Suta.
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so is the fact that the first contract, excuse me, for the architects is going to the same, not supplier, a professional firm, is that, is there any type of cost saving, or is that $70,000 that we've already spent on a site which may or may not, but sounds like probably won't work? If the $70,000, is that sunk cost and now it's gone, it's written off, it's just money that got spent, but, you know, there's nothing to show for it from our end?
Nothing to show for it.
Right, well, there's nothing to show for it, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
There's
you're
nothing to show
So
for
it's
it.
70,000, okay,
Yeah.
so that was gone.
But I would just say that he's starting to know how to work on a fire station, hopefully, because he's doing a drawing for a second time, which with other constraints, and that's what I would say. That's why I'm not as comfortable with that fact, because I saw the drawings of the first.
Just speak a little louder.
Yeah. Well, that's a reassuring answer.
The fact that he already drew another station, okay, makes him more knowledgeable of what the needs are. It has changed. It's not the same context. It's not the same situation. And once we have secured the land, we'll make everything much more clearer, because the land is a big factor in terms of drawing this fire station. So hopefully all the pieces will be put together, and we have to do this to secure the grant, to secure the land, and it's a tight situation.
When do you expect to know if you've got the land or not?
Yeah.
Oui, Madame Lavoie.
Ma dernière question. On ne sait pas où le site va être. Ma question est celle-ci. Est-ce que vous avez dit qu'il fallait qu'il y ait beaucoup d'eau? Est-ce que on est à risque que vous preniez l'eau dans le beaucoup?
Ça n'a pas rapport.
Pas
C'est pas rapport.
ok.
Non.
Ok, merci.
Yes, Tom McGovern.
Patrick, you just said you weren't in favor of the architect because he'd already done one before.
No, he was. I hope he knows how to draw a fire station by now. He did it already.
Oh, I thought you said you weren't in favor of it because of that, sorry.
And Tommy, by the way, Favreau has done other
I
Sure.
know, I,
fire station.
Yeah, it would
so
be
I
very,
mean, it's not,
very
uh,
special.
Yeah.
And how much do you think this is gonna, right now, sitting where we are, how much
Right
do you
here in this
project?
room.
Well, because
Yeah, yeah.
things change, right?
That's right, sitting here,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, if the last month of political developments have taught us anything, it's taught us that. How much do you expect, grosso modo, this building to cost right now? I mean, the budget, the projections,
You know that?
what do you think? How many million?
Was it put in the deal? We don't know the precise amount, but the old one was at, what, $11 million? We think that that one will cost a bit less.
Okay. And so, and you're, because you're gonna have to presumably give the government a number, they're not going to give you
For
an
sure,
open-ended
for
check,
sure.
so.
For
So,
sure.
you know, what you're giving,
That's
the
the
government
purpose
should
of
be
the-
willing to
That's
give
the
to us
purpose
as
of the
well.
resolutions tonight.
Tonight, that's the purpose of doing
That's
that.
Is to
Exactly
find
it.
out what that's gonna cost. Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense. And then you are hoping, is it federal and provincial or just provincial?
It's prevention.
Okay, and you're hoping we can get between 50 and 60%?
No, I said
No.
near $4 to $4.5 million
In grants.
in grants.
In grants?
What percentage?
Okay, because there was a 50 to 60% number.
Yeah, it's,
No.
well, it's a 60 that we said before, but 60 with a max of 6.5. It's very technical with the grant program, but it's, for us, we think that we're gonna get between 4 and 4.5.
And in terms of the tech program, you went through that very quickly. I thought that this item was going to be relative to the money that we had spent on those from those grants for the period of 2019 to 2024 for infrastructure improvements, right?
It's a
Because that's what
resolution,
tech
it's a
is.
simple resolution that we're closing the program. The government gave us near $2 million for the
Okay,
tech.
thanks, that's the answer.
And it's a une reddition de compte,
Right, yeah.
une reddition de compte that we have to
Right, I
do
know.
to close the program.
Right.
Okay,
exactly.
that's, and it's a normal resolution that the government asks us to do when we
Yeah,
close the program.
I've seen the outline on the government website. Are you planning to apply for money for the next period from 2024 to
For sure.
2028?
For sure, it's good money, it's another $2 million.
Okay,
Yes.
so you have, but do we know what we're applying for yet or no?
Well, the tech is for water and sewage
Right.
issues
For
mainly.
infrastructure, yeah.
And we've got issues with like it was explained a few times in the budget, manganese and all that.
Yes,
So we need to address it, and it's gonna be probably one of the thing that we're gonna apply for.
okay, the one thing that struck me though in that, and of course you wouldn't be able to apply for that, for anything from 2024 to 2028 until you have closed off 2024 year.
For sure.
Right. We were running a little bit late on that, it's almost 6 months, because they were looking for
No.
November.
No.
Right on time.
No.
Well, they started looking for that in November. correct?
You're saying we're late, we're not late, so I don't know
Oh,
what
I
you're.
asked, I didn't say we were, I
We're not-
asked if
we're
you
not
were.
late.
No,
We're not late, we're right
I
on
know,
time.
it's not the question you asked, but we're not late and we're closing it now. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, you have one last question, and, because we've gone by the 30-minute question period, way by.
You know,
That's
the
all right.
plans,
I know. it's
that's
too
all
bad.
right.
you know,
This
the
is
plans
important
that you're
stuff.
putting-
Oh, yeah, it's very important, I'm not saying it's not.
Now, the plans that you're putting together, the new location, will you be able to have a reservoir holding water
For what?
for use for the fire department? Because my concern is that currently our water is not always available. I mean, we run out of water from time to time, therefore my.
When was the last time we ran out of water?
Well, when there was a fire in Foster, we all received notice that the water was very low and to stop
Foster is
using.
not on the water system.
My question is, are you going to consider having
No,
a reserve?
No,
No,
water
it's
no,
on-
there's no
site?
reservoir.
no, it's
No.
on, it's on the water
It's on
system.
the town system of water. Yeah. Bon,
Monsieur le maire, je vais proposer la levée de l'Assemblée, c'est juste avant. Je veux juste rassurer les gens. Dans les contextes actuels, en fait, les appels d'offres, ça arrive souvent qu'on a des prix plus bas, because people are more greedy for having jobs, there's less opportunities. So we may be saving money on the cost of building the fire station, which could be, and you mustn't forget that interest rates came down also, so that's hopefully gonna save us money. So that, I just wanted to finish with that factor.
Good, thank you very much.